Watching Michael Scott as the mostly incompetent regional manager of Dunder Mifflin Scranton, you would almost forget he was at one point the company's greatest salesman.
Been there, done that. 2 years in a row. Consecutive.
Unlike most salesmen who solely focus on creating a need and exploiting it, Michael's philosophy is a little different, and this deserves some attention. The first time we see his talent for sales in action is in episode 7 of season 2, where he and his boss Jan go out to land a new client.
Hello? Christian? Yes, that was you. Hi.
So this possible client we're talking about, actually a big deal. It's Lackawanna County, our whole county. And if we get this, they might not have to downsize our branch.
Instead of going straight to business, Michael focuses on establishing a personal relation first.
Awesome Blossom.
What?
I think we should share an Awesome Blossom. What do you say? They are awesome.
He lightens the mood with jokes and really takes the time to get to know his potential client. It is only after laying a solid foundation that he engages in business and makes the sale. Over the course of the series, we see Michael using this method to land multiple major clients.
This is a huge sale.
Yes, right. Good.
But let's also consider the product he's selling. Dunder Mifflin is a small company that cannot compete with the prices of nationwide chains, and so their product isn't so much paper as it is customer service. That is what sets Dunder Mifflin apart, and that is their most important selling point.
Dunder Mifflin may be just 2 rooms and bedrooms, but what we lack in Flash, we will make up for with hard work and decency.
Michael is able to successfully convey this precisely because of his sincere and intuitive approach. He doesn't just sell customer service, he embodies it. He makes a sale in the same way that he would make a friend. He gives people his full attention, makes them feel valued, and genuinely cares about their needs. Now compare this with Ryan, for example.
Hi. Hi.
Oh, Ryan,
Hi.
what do you have for us?
Oh.
Ryan fails to make a sale because he's constantly up in his head, constantly scheming and trying to calculate his best possible move, making him unable to convey what Dunder Mifflin is really about.
I don't get it. I don't get what I did wrong.
Not everything's a lesson, Ryan. Sometimes you just fail. It's those online paper jerks. The whole business is changing.
There are, however, some implications to Michael's way of doing business. Just like paper in a paperless world, it seems to become endangered in an increasingly impersonal and corporate society. When Michael is having money problems, he takes on a second job at a telemarketing company. Here we get a glimpse of Michael's worst possible environment, a place of scripted pitches and quick interactions in which there's no room for making personal connections.
I know sales, and I had that sale. I just need a few more minutes
A few
to seal
more
the
minutes is
deal.
a waste of our time.
It's not a waste of time.
This is a trading game.
No.
You give a quick pitch.
Look.
You make the sale and move on.
Dunder Mifflin is not immune to these changing demands and has no choice but to adapt.
By your own employees' calculation, you'll be obsolete in the next 5 to 10 years.
Thereby putting Michael at odds with his own company as well.
This company is getting younger, faster, more efficient. You need to prepare yourself.
When Dunder Mifflin launches a new website, Michael feels he's being pushed out, and so to prove the old ways are better, he desperately tries to convince former partners to come back to Dunder Mifflin, only to realize that he is the one who may be falling out of touch.
We're also coming out with a website. So it's a state-of-the-art thing. It's going to cut costs, and it will make ordering much, much easier.
But I think the stakes aren't truly revealed until a season later. In episode 12 of season 5, Dunder Mifflin goes after the business of Prince family paper, and Michael is tasked with gathering information. But after meeting the Prince family, he discovers that they are just a small family business serving their community, a reflection of the very thing he himself values so much.
Business is always personal. It's the most personal thing in the world.
People will be ruined! It's business, it's not personal!
And he realizes that maybe he does not belong in this corporate world without mercy.
I'm not a shark.
The episode shows us the apparent inevitability of small businesses being devoured by larger corporations, and personal relations being replaced with faceless transactions. However, the office also shows us why there's no need for despair just yet. Because despite the many obstacles that are put in Dunder Mifflin's way, from scandals to bankruptcy, layoffs and buyouts, it is Michael and the Scranton branch that persevere, that prove itself to be the unwavering, everlasting heart of Dunder Mifflin.
Look, people continue to come back to us time and time again because they feel cared for here, they feel respected, and they feel that their needs matter. They are treated like human beings.
He may not be the perfect manager, but ultimately, Michael stands as a testament to an ideal that goes beyond the lesson in sales. An ideal of a salesman who cares about business, but cares more about people.
People will never be replaced.
In celebration of this channel reaching and surpassing 5,000 subscribers, here is a long-form video made in thanks to the subscribers of this channel for your continued support. I continue to be surprised at the growth of this channel and couldn't have done this without all of you. Many thanks, and onward we go. I'm still excited and having a blast researching and making my videos, and I look forward to many more years of telling you about the cool ideas and stories that I come across within the world of science, especially astronomy, and ultimately our progress towards answering the question of, are we alone? It's one of the biggest questions in the universe from our perspective, and I really don't think we're all that far from answering it definitively. I believe that within 20 years there is a good chance that we'll finally know the answer to the question. But when discussing SETI and searching for alien radio signals in particular, there has always been a kind of elephant in the room. Detection is a two-way street, and the elephant is whether they can see us. We know that it should be possible for us to detect alien radio signals here on Earth, or in fact all sorts of biosignatures that point to life, so long as the signals are strong enough. This goes both ways. In theory, alien civilizations should be able to detect us as well. But in practice, this process is a bit trickier. It really depends on what equipment that alien race has and how close they are to us in space, and the same rules apply for us when looking for them. The one thing an alien race would know, however, assuming that they have powerful telescopes a bit bigger than what we have now, is that Earth hosts life. Life on Earth has a long history and has been affecting the composition of the atmosphere for billions of years. And by studying Earth's atmosphere, anyone in the Milky Way that's looking would see our atmosphere as it was at various stages in the not-too-distant past. Our galaxy is only about 100,000 light years in diameter, so they would not see our planet as it was during the time of the dinosaurs, but rather much more recently, depending on their distance from us. This is one of those rare cases in our universe where the distances do not seem so vast as far as geologic timescales go, but even still, it would be very difficult to detect Earth from the other side of the Milky Way for a number of reasons. But for those that can detect us, the easiest biomarker for an alien civilization to see is our oxygen in the form of O2 and to a lesser extent ozone. While oxygen is not a dead ringer for the presence of life on a planet, it can be abiotically created, and we do have an awful lot of it, a normal amount. They would also see our water vapor, and taken with the oxygen, that would indicate to them that complex life could exist here. With a sufficiently large telescope, they would in turn see CH4, methane. With those three markers taken together, they could reasonably infer that life was the probable source for those gases. But what else could they know? In a paper by Edward W. Schweiterman and colleagues, linked to all papers mentioned in this video in the description below, they review all currently known biomarkers that we can search for to determine if an exoplanet hosts life. It's worth noting here, and the authors of the paper state it prominently, that these biomarkers are for our class of organic water-based life. There may well be alternative biochemistries that would have different markers, but we don't yet have a clear picture of how those life forms might work, and if such chemistries could ever result in intelligence. But in regards to an alien civilization looking at us, even if they were not carbon-based, but instead based on, say, silicon, If they could build telescopes and spectrographs, they would have the scientific capability to know of carbon's complex chemistry and suspect that water and organics, both common in the universe, can lead to life. Organically based alien life similar to us would already know based on themselves. Many other potential biomarkers can be seen on this world. One example is variations in carbon dioxide levels that occur seasonally as vegetation cycles. Another would be the many other gases such as nitrous oxide and methyl chloride that, while they might individually be created abiotically, when you take them as a whole, life becomes the likely source for the profile. They might also see direct reflections from our vegetation in the near infrared. Searching exoplanets for this biosignature is covered in a 2005 paper by Sarah Seeger and colleagues, and the technique could equally be used by an alien civilization looking at Earth, providing they know what plant life is. But even if they don't, they might still see that some strangeness is happening with this world in the near infrared. But what of detecting our civilization through our technological markers? There are quite a few of these, and the more developed we become, the more important some of them will be as far as aliens spotting us, such as our waste heat when we start doing things like building Dyson swarms. That eventually would be visible at much greater distances than anything we're doing now, but as we are right now, there are several major technological markers that we produce. Before we get to those, it's worth pointing out that distance is key for aliens to detect us. We've only been technologically visible in a major way for about a century, give or take. Hypothetically, aliens within 100 light years might see the signatures of our technology, but they would see it as it was in the past. If they're close, say, civilization, for example, then they would see us how we were a bit over 4 years ago. A civilization at 50 light years would see us as we were 50 years ago, and so on. But further out than about 100 light years or so, using any practical means, we become essentially undetectable. And the further you go from there, it becomes the detected stuff. Within 100 light years, there are two main markers that aliens might detect and a few peripheral ones. Firstly is radio. We've been broadcasting radio waves for about a century, give or take. Aliens within 100 light years from Earth, in theory, might pick those transmissions up, depending on what equipment they have. But as a matter of practicality, they might not. The reason for this is that they would need some serious equipment to do it. If we took our own current equipment,